Hey everybody, how are you today? Okay, my name is John Jack Rainmaker Common. Jack is a nickname for John. Rainmaker because I make it rain. Yeah, I do, yeah. I've been making it rain actually all of my life. Anyway, today we're actually going to talk about scripting. I know for a lot of people, scripting is a bad word. And there are actually some die-hard salespeople I know. Well, they think they're salespeople. They call themselves salespeople. Oh, I hate scripts. Scripts don't work. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, let me explain one thing. Okay. Use a script, don't use a script. Invariably, over time, as I observe salespeople, whether it's on the telephone or in person, they kind of develop their own schmaltz, their own patois, their own script, because they kind of do it by trial and error, right? They use things that don't work and they go, well, this worked last time, so I'm going to use this again. And they just naturally, over time, develop their own script. The challenge with that, it's more miss than hit. When you have a completely organized script, your delivery is going to be consistent every single time. And also, what's great about scripts is, apart from standardization and uniformity, you can teach 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 3,000 people, 4,000 people to follow the same script, understand the psychology behind the script, and even though they may not be as good as you as a salesperson, so let's pretend they're half as good as you, right? Well, now all of a sudden, if I've got 500 people on the phones using my script, what have I just done? Even if they're only half as good as me, I've replicated myself 250 times. Okay? Scripts aren't successful 100% of the time, but they are more successful than not. And we're going to talk about this in just a minute. One of the biggest challenges is that we have people who write scripts who don't have a friggin' clue. Right? What is it? The guy with the shrimp boat thing, the actor. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Stupid does as stupid sees, or stupid sees as stupid does, or whatever. I can't remember. But anyway, it's like the blind leading the blind. I see this all the time around me. Okay, there are a lot of people who are out there saying, "Hey, I got this fantastic script, and you can get it for free." Yeah, I'm going to give it to you for free. All you have to do is learn the script. Don't understand or don't try and figure out why it works or how it works. Just learn it, repeat it like a parrot or a dumbass, okay, and be successful. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I went to school in the United Kingdom, and for whatever reason, I was at the tail end of baby boomers, and at that time, the English education system went through this giant revolution. Revolution, evolution. Before, when you took physics or chemistry or even mathematics, you could learn certain formulas, right? Like Ohm's law, right? Don't have to understand the underlying principle, just repeat it, regurgitate it like a parrot. And you'd pass the exam. And all of a sudden you became a physics genius or whatever. Okay? Well, then they introduced what they called Nuffield chemistry, Nuffield physics, and Nuffield biology, whatever. And what they did was they had you perform experiments and observe the experiments, and then from your observations, deduce Ohm's law. Figure out for yourself. Figure out for yourself how an electric motor works, or a magnet, or whatever. The thinking behind it was that if you discovered these things on your own, you'd actually have a true understanding of the underlying principles, and therefore you would be knowledgeable. And you know what? They were right. I know. I can't wait for Armageddon or an apocalypse, because I'm going to be the only guy with running water and electricity. Anyway, that's another story. But let's go back to scripts and scripting. Just like everything else, scripting is a process. Everything in life is a process, even the way in which you get dressed. Are you wearing shoes and socks? Maybe not. Not if you're a lady, maybe. I'm not sure. Okay, but what happens if you put your shoes on first and then put on your socks? It's kind of possible. I mean, you'd have to make the socks really stretch, but it doesn't really work, does it? No. Everybody knows you put your socks on first or your shoes. And I'm sure you all have small children, or at one time were exposed to small children, right? Or have you noticed where your son was trying to take his pants off, right, to get changed into his PJs or jump in the shower before taking off the shoes? Doesn't work very well, does it? Got to take off your shoes first, then your pants come off. So what I'm telling you is that even in the mundane act or process of getting dressed, right, there's actually a process. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7, and all the way down the line. And in fact, scripting is exactly the same way. Now, of course, scripting can be on the phone, could be in person. There's what I call on-the-fly scripting. I guess you could say scripting is being prepared. There are a lot of salespeople who fancy themselves, I don't know, hey, I'm going to shoot from the hip. Yeah, I'm a really good salesperson. Yeah, I'm sure you are. Okay? Until you've made $1 million a month, you can't talk to me about scripting or selling. This telephone here, okay? I make $1 million a year using this. Do you? Okay. So maybe I do know what I'm talking about, just a little bit. But that's not the point. The point is for you to utilize scripts and to build scripts knowledgeably that are effective, so you burn through less leads. That's exactly right. You burn through less leads. You can actually cut your advertising in half, yeah, and increase your sales just because you're better prepared with a script. I know it sounds crazy, right? Okay, what I'm going to do today is go through the basic steps of script building. In other webinars, we'll actually get even deeper in it's not what you say, it's how you say it. We'll even get even more deep or deeper, is that such a thing? Where we actually get into layering, listen, acknowledge, explore, respond, but we'll talk about that a little later, actually during this webinar also. But for right now, what I'm going to do is go through the basic 9, 4, 5, yeah, is the missing one, right? 9 steps to successful script building so that you can sell and close anyone, anywhere, on anything. And yes, you can. You can. I'm not going to talk about making sure you've got the right prospect and you're talking to the decision maker and everything else. Those are other things, okay? What I'm going to talk about right now is actually scripting in terms of how you're going to communicate with the quarry, with your prospect, from a modicum of intelligence and preparedness. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get a slide up here. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Oh, did I do it? Oh, here we go. It's up. Okay, all right. Scripting for success. A lot of people forget this. A lot of people can't figure this out. But when you're scripting or building a script, what's the purpose of this script? What's the objective of this script? And a script should only have one objective. make an appointment, sign the client up for a listing agreement, sell an iPhone. One objective, one goal. And the reason I say this is so many people during the process of selling, right, okay, want to show the prospect or the quarry, the victim in this case, okay, how smart they are. And so they start talking about shit that's got neither here nor there. I want to tell you how smart I am about Legal Shield. No, I'm teasing someone on this, okay? The whole thing here is, and let's take an objective. So let's say the objective is we're going to make an appointment. So the reason I'm on the phone with you today, or I'm seeing you face to face today, is to set you up for a future appointment, whether it's on the telephone, on the computer, via video, whatever it might be. Okay, so that's going to be our objective today. Or our objective could be, I'm here to talk to you about listing your home with me. Yeah, a little more complicated now, right? No, actually, they're all pretty much the same. It's the same steps. But the very first thing you need to think about, and you really need to kind of get solid, grounded in, is what's the objective. And even when you're talking to people about things on the fly, let's say you have to make a phone call and you want to try and cut a deal with somebody, okay? Before you jump on the phone like a lot of people do, well, I've got the gift of the gab and I'm a great negotiator. Whoa, let me talk to the guy right now, okay? Why don't you spend about 5 or 10 minutes mentally preparing yourself by maybe even rehearsing what you might discuss with the other person at the other end of the telephone or facing you. Yeah, practice makes perfect. Pulp Fiction, I'm sure, was a script. I don't think all those actors got together and made the shit up as they went along. Okay, so the first thing is, what's the objective? Okay, and the most important thing you have to understand as you develop the script and write the script and when you're delivering the script is you need to stick to the objective. There's a tendency here for people to want to oversell. So let's talk about this for just a minute. A lot of salespeople will pretty much put up with anything when they're in front of a prospect. You know, sometimes you're on the phone, you can hear somebody in the background talking to them, you know, coaching them, quarterbacking them. A lot of times it might be the wife calling, you know, to find out some information, and the husband's telling her what to say. Sometimes they've got the baseball game on or the football game on or whatever. So this brings me to the next step. It needs to be the right time. I called a guy last week. He was a wholesaler, wholesaling some property, I think, in Fresno. Yeah, I thought it was Chicago. Fresno. And when I was talking to him, I had to repeat a couple of things that I was talking to him about because he wasn't listening. He was saying, oh, could you say that again? So I immediately said to him, listen, if I'm not calling at a very good time, you kind of sound distracted. Let me call you back when I have your full attention. I don't know about you, but if you don't walk away with a deal or an appointment or whatever, is the guy still going to put some money on your Visa card? I don't think so. So why would you pitch somebody or even talk to anybody that's distracted watching the movie, you know, Lifetime's movie of the week, or the baseball game, or they're having a barbecue at their house? Hey, I hear kind of a bunch of noise out there. You know what? Maybe I should call you back a better time. I know so many salespeople who, oh my God, I got the guy on the phone. You know, let me carry on pitching him. That's crazy. Don't do that shit. You're going to go through the pitch. You're going to go through the presentation. The person on the other end's not even going to be there. And you're going to, strike out. Why even waste your time? Just move on to the next prospect. So apart from sticking with the objective, what's our goal with this conversation, in person or on the telephone? Am I talking to you at the right time? If you walk into someone's business and you're trying to sell them something, and I've been there, I've seen it happen. Some of these business owners think their shit doesn't stink. They're too big for their britches. Oh, I'm a business owner. Fuck you. That's my answer. Yeah, it is. Being nice is free. If you've got a business owner who's constantly interrupting you by taking phone calls, ring, ring, whatever, his gal running into the office, leave. Leave. You're not going to make a sale. I'm sorry. They are too distracted. Come back another time and tell them that you recognize that their time is valuable. Is there a better time for me to come back when it's a little quieter? How about 6:30 in the morning or 9 o'clock at night? Or just etch out 15 minutes. All I need is 15 minutes of your time. Turn off the phones. Lock the front door. Don't allow people to walk all over you while you're trying to talk to them about things that are important to them and to you. Yes. Are you trying to sell them something? Of course you are. But you know what? People aren't stupid. Well, some of them are, okay? But generally speaking, if they don't see value in what you have to offer, they're not buying, right? If you don't see value in what I have to offer, you're not buying, hopefully, unless you're an idiot. But we also know that people do buy some dumb shit stuff sometimes. So is this the right time? You want to make sure that they're not distracted, okay? If there's somebody else on the background, if you're on the phone, hey, I hear someone, is that your husband? Is that your wife? Do they want to be included in the conversation? Go ahead and have them pick up another line. Or maybe I can call them on their phone directly, and we'll see what happens. You'll be amazed at how people respond to that. Really. Oh, no, man, you got my full attention. Oh, yeah, that's my husband or that's my wife, and it would be great if she could hear this as well. Be more cognizant of your surroundings. Be more cognizant of what's going on. More importantly, stick to the objective. Let's say, for example, the objective is to make an appointment. That's all you're doing. When they start asking questions, well, what do you think how much my house is worth? Or what do you think of this? Or what do you think is going on with the market? Well, you know what? And you're a real estate agent. You want to show them how smart you are. Yeah. Let me tell you what's going on with the real estate market in Las Vegas or in Chicago, in Connecticut, or Florida, or wherever, right? You're going to show them you got chops. Wrong. You know what? When we get together, we'll talk about that face to face. How about that? And I'll even bring some information. What else would you like to know when I come by? Yeah, when I come by. Assumption closed. You're meeting with me. Now, the only function is it Monday morning or Tuesday afternoon? Is it going to be 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock? If the individual, let's say you're making an appointment, if the individual on the other end of the phone wants to talk to you about anything but the appointment, you tell them, we'll talk about it when I get there. Let's focus on me getting there right now. Then I'll answer all your questions. I'll even show you how much your house is worth. Don't worry about it. Instead, what happens, and I know you do this, don't deny it. Well, yeah, well, houses in your neighborhood, blah, 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 blah. Wrong. Why? Why are you giving shit away for free? You're calling just to make an appointment. It's that simple. Okay? Think about it. Okay. Getting their attention. That's actually a pretty tough one. It depends who you talk to. A lot of people say, you know what? The first 6 seconds of the phone call The first 2 seconds of the phone call. How about the first 100th of a second of the phone call? I don't know. But if I get you on the phone, I better get your attention. Because if I don't have your attention, I don't have anything. How are you going to get their attention? Well, I have the solution to your problem. You got to give them a reason to listen to you. It's got to be something interesting that you're telling them. You know your business much better than I do. You know what your hot buttons are, or hot spots, to get their hot buttons, right? Part of the process is also like a hard pre-qualification. A hard pre-call could be, let's say if you're selling somebody something on the telephone, well, you know, if you like what I have to say today, you are going to have to enroll, and it will require a major credit card. Do you have a major credit card, and can you do this today? Oh, what? They don't even know what they're buying yet. But you're already probing them. Or do you have a checking account? Okay, now, and who's that checking account with? Mine's with Bank of America. Is yours with Wells Fargo? Oh, no, Fifth Third? Oh, okay. You see my hard qualification? Now, in order for me to meet with you, okay, if your wife is part of the decision-making process, she's going to have to be there also. Will she be there? Can you make her available? Will she make herself available? Look, this is all about not wasting your time. So many salespeople are so happy to get an appointment or to get a pitch or whatever that they actually end up wasting their time on people who aren't qualified. Both the decision makers aren't there, whatever it might be. You're just wasting your time, okay? I need to get your attention. Now I've got your attention, okay? I'm going to hard pre-qual you. If we get along and everything's good, you're going to have to pay for it today. You got a major credit card? MasterCard, Visa? You know, oh, I got a MasterCard. Oh, is that with Capital One? Nail it down. Or is that Chase's Visa? Okay? If they say I got a Visa card or a MasterCard or a checking account, who's the Visa card with? American Express, great. Do you have the black American Express? Man, I've always wanted those. I got the platinum one that weighs like 20 pounds. You know, the card itself comes in a wooden box. It's crazy. I wonder how they ship the black card. I think the black card is supposed to be invitation only. Obviously, I'm not good enough yet. But anyway, what I'm saying to you is that you don't want to be wasting your time. You want to get their attention. It keeps them on the phone, right? Okay. And then you need to hard qualify, which is actually you're trying to get them off the phone. If they're still on the phone with you after the hard qualify, what does that mean? They're in for the game. Excuse me, you haven't scared them off. Okay? Get their attention. I have a solution to your problem. Give them a reason to listen to you. Because they're going to be thinking to themselves, why am I listening to this guy? You know, okay? Hard pre-qualification. Both of you need to be there. I'm not going to just come there and talk to you and leave some information so you can talk about over it with your wife. That's not going to happen. Okay? Because when I'm there, you're both going to sign. I need you both to be there. Okay? And the reason I'm saying all these things is because I don't want to waste your time and I don't want to waste my time either. Okay? This is about time. Ladies and gentlemen, money, trillions and trillions of dollars, unlimited supply. People, billions and billions of people, unlimited supply. Time, oh my gosh. Once today's gone, it's gone. Once the airplane leaves the airport with an empty seat, can Southwest sell that seat again? No, it's empty. It took off with an empty seat. Can't get that money back. Once today is gone, today is gone. Once I come to your house or a place of business and we visit or talk on the phone or whatever it might be, okay, and only half the decision makers there, or I was weak and you really weren't interested, or what you thought was your problem really is not your problem. I just wasted my time and your time. But hey, boss, I got another presentation. That doesn't score any points. What scores points is signed contracts, cash in the bank. I can have a contract, I can have a check, I still don't have a deal. It's not until that check cashes that I have a deal. And that's the way you need to look at life as well. There's so many salespeople that do things half-assed. Half-assed appointments, half-assed prospects. Forget it. Don't waste your time. It's really. Sit at home, smoke a cigar by the pool. Or don't smoke a cigar. It's not healthy. Eat a hamburger. Is that healthier? I don't know. Okay. This is really kind of interesting to me. Creating points of separation. When I was a kid, I started off life, not when I was washing cars when I was 11, later, when I was in the ad business. I started life in the ad business, and I would sign clients, right, as an advertising guy. And when I first started out, I would ask my clients, well, how come you signed with me and with my company or our company, not the other guys that were pitching you? And you know what their answer was? It blew me away. I said, oh my God. Well, you guys were all kind of the same. Really? Yeah. But we liked you and we liked your persistence. When I was making offers on real estate as an investor, what struck me when we would send offers in and I called the listing agent didn't remember me or the name of my company that was making the offer. They remembered the offer by the number on the, well, our offer was 227. Oh yeah, fuck that, forget it, rejected. And it struck me that in order to succeed against other offers, wanting to buy a property, I had to create a point of separation between me and the other people who are putting in offers. Okay? How about you? As you talk to homeowners or other human beings, and they're being talked to by other real estate agents or other car salesmen or whatever it might be. Well, you guys are all the same. That's the worst thing in the world. I like the name Jack. I mean, my given name, legal is John, but Jack's kind of cool because it's a nickname for John. But when I used to get on the phone and I used to close deals as a closer, it was a TO, right? Hey, my name's Jack. And then some of the people at the other end of the phone says, uh-oh, I'm going to get hammered now. I got the jackhammer. Yeah, Jack is in jackhammer. That's a point of separation. That's going to make you memorable. Sometimes just your name. You need to make yourself memorable. You need to create, as part of your presentation, what I call points of separation that separates you out from everybody else. You need to think about this. It's so funny. I see realtors, on the bottom of their emails and business cards, they have, wearing a suit or a nice, good-looking business outfit. I told this one kid I was working with last year, because he was young, 21, 22, and I asked him, what do you like to do? And he says, well, I play soccer. I said, you know what? You should take your picture holding a soccer ball, but wearing a soccer jersey and your soccer gear. So when you give people out your business card, hey, yeah, that's the realtor who's a soccer player. That's a point of separation. Are you getting what I'm saying now? Okay, so that you stand out from the rest of the crowd. Very important. Okay, something that you do that no one else does. Maybe your favorite hobby is entering hot dog contests. You never win because you're not that much of a pig, right? Okay. One of my hobbies actually is making healthy pancakes. I'm the guy that makes healthy pancakes, no flour, protein powder, flax meal, almond milk. They weigh like 20 pounds, but they're good. Are you seeing what I'm saying here? So you need to create a point of separation, even if you're on the phone, even if you're making an appointment, doesn't matter. Okay? You need to stand out from everybody else. You need to make yourself memorable. And I don't mean spilling coffee all over yourself while you're sitting there. Oh, I've done that a couple of times too. You know, good news is I didn't get it over their white carpet. Oh, that would have been just terrible. But anyway, okay. So you got the opener of the script. Oh, and by the way, I know this sounds really kind of silly. This is like scripting 101. Never call. Is this John Common? Listen, it means you don't know them, they don't know you, or they owe you money. Okay? Right? They're not going to talk to you. When you say, hey, is this John? Oh, maybe this is somebody I should know. Right? Hey, John, my name is Jack, as in jackhammer. Yeah. See what I'm doing here? Okay. Part of the script steps, or one of the script steps, is setting the agenda. And setting the agenda is you're taking the mystery out of what's going to happen, either on the telephone or in person. So essentially, here's what's going to happen today. I'm going to ask you some basic questions. I'm going to complete a form. I'm going to make an assessment of your property. I'm going to complete a listing agreement, and you and I will sign the listing agreement together. Does that work for you? I laid it out there. I set the agenda. I took the mystery out of everything. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you some questions about your vehicle. We're going to correct mileage, VIN number, and everything else. I'm going to present the plans. We'll find a plan that works best for you. Okay? And then I'm going to give you a quote. And once I give you the quote, we're going to enroll you in your vehicle today. I'm going to require payment by credit card or check by phone. Does that work for you? So when you bring this up, when you set the agenda, when you tell them what's going to happen, nobody can say, well, I didn't know I had to make a decision today. I didn't know I had to pay for something today. What the fuck? We just talked about it at the very beginning of the conversation. Does that make sense? Okay? So STA, setting the agenda, is super critical. So whatever you're doing, remember the objective that we talked about, right? Whatever the objective is, you have a steps process you go through. That's called setting the agenda. You're going to tell the prospect, the quarry, the victim at the other end of the phone or in person, this is what the agenda is going to be, and you get them to agree on what the agenda is. Yes. So it's not a surprise. And if they say, well, I don't want to do that, then instead of wasting your time, although sometimes, that's kind of like an objection right up front, right? They don't even know. Well, you know what? I don't know how you can say you don't want to do that because you don't even know what we're going to talk about. But that's okay. I respect you. I've had so many people at the front end of my presentation. You're trying to sell me something, aren't you? Or I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not buying. And you know what? All those guys end up buying. Well, maybe not all of them. A lot of them. Well, I guess you want my credit card number now, right? Yeah, that's right. I don't want you to buy from me. My job is just to give you information so you can make an informed decision and know what all your options are. But I'm still going to ask you to sign. And if you say no, that's okay. We'll part company as friends. But I do ask you one thing. I'm going to give you some information today that might surprise you. And all I ask is you keep an open mind. Do you promise to keep an open mind? Ooh. So you set the agenda out. You tell them what's going to happen. You're going to tell them you expect them to sign. You expect them to buy. You expect them to give you money. I'm going to ask for money. You're going to sign. I'm going to ask you to buy. Is that okay with you? No surprises. Most important piece, setting the agenda. And I've seen some scripts. Actually, somebody sent me a script today that wasn't half bad. It had some, let me get your attention stuff in the beginning, right? It had a few points of separation. And it even set the agenda. I was actually quite impressed. And apparently, the individual who was using the script was doing extremely, extremely well with it. No wonder. It had a bunch of great ingredients. Okay? The cool thing about it is when you bring people in, right? Okay? You get them to agree on what the process is going to be. You're making them a part of the process. Well, I did tell you earlier you're going to sign. I did tell you earlier you're going to buy. I did tell you earlier it's going to take a checking account or a credit card. See what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He did tell me that. Or maybe I should start saying she as well. A lot of people are so sensitive about this gender stuff. Anyway, so setting the agenda. Here's what's going to happen. Okay? Take out the mystery. You're going to sign, buy, give me money. I'm going to ask you for money. I'm going to ask you to sign. I'm going to ask you to buy. You can say no. It's okay. I understand. We'll still be friends. The good news is you're going to know a lot more than you did before we started. You got that? Okay, setting the agenda. Okay. When you set the agenda, you're really aiming for mutual agreement. When your prospect feels part of the process, they want to help you out too. Believe it or not, it's a human psychology thing. Why? I agreed that we do this, and I want him to be successful. They want the outcome to be successful for you and them. I know it's kind of weird, right? Does that work for you? Oh, yeah, that works for me. I'm not going to force you to make a decision you don't want to make. But nevertheless, you're going to have to make a decision. And the decision is going to be yes or no. I'm amazed at how many salespeople, oh my gosh, this drives me crazy. It's called the be back bus. I'll be back. I'll call you back, right? Well, I can't quite make up my mind. I have a very simple philosophy. They either buy or die. Salespeople who would rather take a maybe as opposed to a yes or no are scaredy cats. Yeah, they're operating out of fear of loss. Well, I got a maybe, so maybe. Oh, you didn't say no. Are you one of those salespeople? Well, let me think about it. Let me ask my dog about it. Well, when do you think you could? Is 2 days enough time? How about 2 seconds? How about right now? Unless you're some kind of retard. Is it retard or retard? I don't know. Okay. Or is that a slur on retards? I don't know. Right? How much time do you really need to think about it? Not much time at all. Take action. Move on it right now. If you're truly a salesperson, you need to become tougher, more hardcore. You need to spend more of your time with people who are real prospects. Are you serious about selling your home? These people have been trying to sell their home, and they asked me to come in as an investor and make an offer on their home. And one of the first things I said to them, they were empty nesters. Kids were growing up, right? So they were all going to school. So they didn't need the big swimming pool. They didn't need the 3 or 4 bedrooms, whatever it was. The parents really didn't want to live in Las Vegas anymore. They wanted to move to like Utah, where they go on holiday a lot. Okay. And one of the questions I asked them, I said, listen, okay, if I buy your house, once you sell your house, okay, what are you guys going to do then? We don't know. Really? They never really thought about it. So if they didn't really think about what they were going to do after they sold their house, were they even really seriously considering selling their house? Yeah. Or sell the house and, okay, what do we do now? That's kind of silly. Okay. What I want you to do as you look at your scripting and as you look at everything that you do as you interact with people, okay, you need to become tougher on yourself and also tougher on them. Are you serious about selling your home? Years and years and years ago, this is, I want to say, late 80s, early 90s, Toyota started Lexus. This is after Acura with Honda. And Lexus actually went to the University of Toronto to their psychology department, and said, a lot of people who buy our cars or people who, buy Mercedes and BMW and so on and so forth, they're bazillion-dollar-a-year executives. And we need to come up with a kind of presentation for them, a selling methodology that works for people who are smart and maybe educated, right? Okay. And one of the most fantastic things that they came up with was the meet and greet, what I call the meet and greet. Maybe they called it the meet and greet too, which was when somebody came on the car lot. A lot of people do. They go to the car lot to look at cars or whatever. Hey, how you doing today? Welcome to Lexus of Las Vegas, let's say. I should ask Jimmy Johnson, Lexus of Las Vegas, if he still uses this pitch. Welcome to Lexus of Las Vegas. What brings you here today? Well, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. Have you ever been here before? Well, no, or yes, or whatever. Okay. While you're here today, what is it that you're hoping to accomplish? Wow. That's kind of cool, huh? Yeah, what is your agenda? Okay, you want to look at cars, get some pricing and stuff. Cool. Now I know what your agenda is, right? Okay. What you want to do is you only want to be talking to people who have a real need today, hopefully right now, this very second. Okay. I mean, if let's say you got a $1 million lottery ticket. Well, I'm going to go to the lottery ticket office at the very last second, and some people do, I know, right? They maybe they lose the ticket, or they want to be anonymous or whatever. I'm going to wait to the last minute to go to the lottery office, collect my million. No, that's not me. I win $1 million. They open at 9 o'clock. I'm there like at 9 and 1 second with my ticket in hand, ready to cash my check. Okay? Prospects are the same way. You want the prospect who's gathering information? I tell you what, when you get closer to making a decision, call me, and I'll be more than happy to help you. But right now, I'm really actually pretty busy with people who are making a decision today, who want to move forward today. Now, I'm the best there ever is. Don't get me wrong. And you'll be happy that you talked to me. But when you're closer to pulling the trigger, that's when we'll have the conversation. Because who knows? You and I could be dead by then. Okay, so mutual agreement is very important, because when you get somebody involved with you in setting the agenda and getting mutual agreement, they want a positive outcome just like you. Yes, they do. Okay. Now, common interruption. A lot of people don't really talk about common interruptions very much. They don't really know what they are. A common interruption could be anything. Pretty much you're on your little presentation mode. What'd you say your name was? What company you're with? When's your birthday? What's your star sign? Okay. What'd you have for breakfast? That's a common interruption. And what you do with common interruptions is you deal with them. Well, I don't think I had breakfast this morning. But when did you say you bought this house? And you go straight back. They're just trying to derail you. You're on your journey, right? Down your path. They throw out a common interruption. Some people do it naturally. They don't even know that they're doing it. It can be obnoxious. Sometimes you ask them a question and they throw out a common interruption. What you do is you deal with the common interruption and you repeat the question. A lot of salespeople become derailed with common interruptions. They become discombobulated. You just pick up where you left off. Okay? That's a common interruption. Or how much did you say it was going to be? Well, I actually didn't say how much it's going to be, and we'll get to that in just a moment once I collect some basic information. But what was the correct spelling of your last name again? And you go straight back into the presentation. Common interruption can be also their way of taking back control of the conversation. See, when two people meet, they both have telling tension. You have telling tension because you're a salesperson. You want to tell them everything and have them smile and sign away their lives. Okay? They have telling tension because they're afraid of getting sold and they want to show that they're in control. And sometimes when a spouse is there, the other spouse is showing off for the other spouse. Well, not really showing off, but maybe behaving a little differently. So there's all kinds of dynamics going on. What you want to do is you want to be, I call it pup, poised under pressure. You want to be cool as a cucumber. And you just keep going down your path of your presentation. So you get the common interruption, you deal with it, and you move on, you continue on. You don't miss a step, okay? How many times have you, this happens all the time, right? You had the guy on the phone or in person, oh yeah, I love you guys, I know exactly about you, blah, blah, blah. I want to give you 10 properties to sell, yahoo, boo, 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 right? And then you walk away with nothing. Then there's the person who's like, oh my gosh, from the first word out of their mouth, it was like walking through mud uphill in the pouring rain. And like, I'm like, man, why did I even bother getting out of bed this morning, right? And that's the guy you sign. You can never tell. What you need to do is run everybody through exactly the same process. Put your socks on first and then your shoes, right? Follow the 9 steps. Follow your script judiciously. What happens when a lot of people think I got to lay down here. Oh, this is going to be real easy. What happens is the salesperson misses steps because they think they got this deal. And invariably, the other person's on the other end is in a hurry too. Yeah. Oh yeah, let's move on. Let's go. And then nothing, crickets, right? Okay. So what you need to do is run everybody through exactly the same process every single time. Okay. If you get a common interruption, deal with the common interruption, then get back on track. And generally speaking, most common interruptions come up, in instead of answering your question, they answer your question with another question. Closed objection. Closed objections are really kind of interesting. An objection to maybe making decisions today. Well, I really need to discuss this I need to pray about it, talk to my pastor, check out your references, check out your company, whatever it might be. Okay. The reality of closed objections is that there could be many, many motives behind that one statement. The challenge with the way in which salespeople have been taught is that typically, you'll have a sheet when you were trained that will say, okay, if they say this, you say that. If they say that, you say this, right? Okay. But what happens if there is maybe 6 reasons for them making an objection? Okay, for example, let's just take one, for example. And this is one of my favorite ones because it comes up a lot because a lot of people selling shit, selling stuff, okay? Well, that's too much money. Okay. But first of all, so most people would say, well, we're cheaper than everybody else, right? That's that they teach you to do that. Or, we're not the cheapest, we're not the most expensive either, right? We're good value for money. That's what they teach you. That's what your response should be. Okay. Yet when somebody says, whoa, that's too much money, how many motives can they have for saying that? One is they saw the same thing cheaper somewhere else. 2, they were thinking it was going to be $300 and now you're telling them it's $500. 3, they only have $50 in their bank account, right? That was 3? Yeah, okay. 4, their buddy told them that he could sell them his for $200, not $500. So there's actually lots of reasons for an individual to say that that's too much money. Maybe they only make $5 a week, and you're talking about them spending more than half their paycheck. That's why they're saying it's too much money. So the reality of it is when somebody gives up an objection, there could be a half a dozen motives or different motives for them to bring that objection up. As a result, when you have this, if they say this, you say that routine, you have a less than 15% chance of being right. In order to understand the motive behind their objection, you have to become curious, like the 4-year-old or 3-year-old. Remember little kids, they always say why, and everything's why. I'm going to kill somebody, right? You have to be curious like the kid. Well, I know you're telling me that you think that's too much money, but why is that? Well, I only make $5 a week. You're talking 100-week salary. That's like 2 years, right? Okay. Okay. Now you're getting somewhere. So with closed objections, I need to think about it. Okay. What is it you think you need to think about? Because people are actually afraid of buying. There's fear of buying, fear of making a hasty decision. It's actually a form of the theory of dissonance, like kind of like pre-buyer's remorse. I don't want to be rushed into a decision, so I make the wrong decision. So they come up with an objection. Your job is to find out what's driving that objection. What is the motive behind the objection? Because once you understand the motive, then you can actually close on that motive, can't you? I need to talk about it with my wife. Oh, okay. I can understand that. I don't know about you, okay? But a lot of times my wife trusts me and she takes her decision based on my lead. I'm sure yours does the same, right? Won't she say, well, what do you think, honey? Well, what do you think, George? And that's what your wife's going to ask you, right? Assuming now that he's got to talk about it with his wife is the right motive. Maybe, I know you need to talk about it with your wife, to think about it. Well, it's really just for me, so I have more time. Oh, okay. So when they come up with an objection, you have to kind of discover whether it's a real objection or not. And then once you've determined it's a real objection, you need to find out what the motive is behind that one objection, because there could be a half dozen motives or 3 motives or whatever. And then once you understand the motive, you can actually hinge and close on the motive. But there's actually a technique called listen, acknowledge, explore, respond, or layering, okay, that I can actually teach you. And that's actually a subject for completely its own webinar, okay? And you can use layering to overcome any objection and close on any situation. Yes. Okay, layer. Listen, acknowledge, explore, respond. But for the time being, I'm going to leave you with ask questions. Well, I understand what you're telling me. You're telling me blah, 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 blah. I've had lots of people tell me the same thing, a lot of clients, right? And they've all had different reasons for telling me this. What's yours? That brings us to the end. Those are 9 steps. I realize it was very quick. You probably only got every other word from me and not the important ones like and, if, or but. I appreciate you visiting me today on my webinar. I'm not trying to sell you anything. You all have my email, people who signed up. You all can communicate with me through my community. If you have any questions about scripting, the first, 5 people, I don't want to kill myself. I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. The first 5 people that send me their script, or maybe write their script, I'll look at it. I'll actually give you input and tell you what I think. And yes, it's true. In my lifetime, through my large sales organizations that I've built and trained and scripts that I've written, I've closed close to more than $1 billion worth of products and services. Well, not just by myself. I mean, when we were doing warranties, we had like over 1,200 people working for us. And then in the mortgage game, there were like, I think, 548 people or something. But what I'm telling you is that if you prepare yourself with a script, you have a much greater chance of winning than you have of losing. There's no such thing as a script that wins 100% of the time, that closes 100% of the time. But you do increase your odds of winning by following a uniform, standardized presentation. Okay? If you go to McDonald's, would you like French fries to go with that? That's a script, isn't it? Even the way in which they make the hamburger is a script. It's a process. The food is consistent every single time. Doesn't matter which McDonald's you go to. You know what to expect. Because it's a scripted process. My name is John Jack Rainmaker Common, also known as Flip Coach USA. I hope that I was able to help you in some way today in terms of better script writing. And if you follow the 9 steps, get their attention, set the agenda, point of separation, you know what I mean, mutual agreement, know the difference between common interruptions and closed objections, get back on track, make sure there are no distractions, make sure that it's the right time to present. You're actually going to burn through less leads. Yes. And you're going to make the most of most leads. Oh, and by the way, don't get a maybe. I need a yes or no, like right now, today. I'm not going to wait a month. I'm not going to wait 6 weeks. And if I have to wait a month or 6 weeks, it means that I am actually making my presentation too early to you. You're not ready yet. What is it? The apple's not ripe. Anyway, my name is John Jack Rainmaker Common. Spread the word. If you thought you got something out of this today, great. If you didn't, then okay, I'm sorry. No, not really, because I know I gave you good stuff. And write a script, use a script. Even a shitty script is better than no script.